Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host, and
Karen.
we're live on a Tuesday afternoon, ready to get you through the rest of your Tuesday or whenever you choose to listen to this, because it could be any day that you choose to listen. But we're going to try to get you through however long we record it, because I can't possibly know that at this point. But we're not alone. We are joined by a man that we've come to know and to love. He's a comedian. You guys may know him as a friend if you're on his text message, because I consider us all friends then, on this email chain. It is money motherfucking Myq Kaplan. Woo!
Yes,
How
I
you doing?
do. I do love to send my friends NFTs, which is what I call nice friendly texts. Yeah.
It was funny. I was going somewhere the other day. Karen and I were in the car, and I thought of you because there's a sign for this really cool bar up the street, and on the outside of the sign, this on the outside of the building, the sign says, "No bigots, no like transphobes, no homophobes," or something like that. But something that happened to the sign where like the top corner had gotten loose, so it folded in and it made it seem like the no didn't say that.
No.
So it like there was no there,
It
so it just
wasn't.
said bigots, homophobes, and racists or something.
Yes, it did.
And I was just like, oh man, Mike would get a kick out of this because he likes
yeah.
words.
It's like, the houses like that have the like coexist bumper stickers, but the equivalent of like, in this house, we don't accept racism or transphobia or homophobia or sexism, but it's like the pushback to that. They're like, in this house we only accept racism, homophobia. Like, if you love anyone else, get out of here. This house is
You don't belong
no
here.
love.
We only love the haters. We're insistent upon it. We're inclusive of hate, but that's
Yes,
it.
That's it.
Hate the
But
lover,
yeah.
love the hate. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just saw that and was like, oh, Mike would get a kick out of this. I remember I saw another time, I saw sign over a shoe repair place, but the shoe repair sign was broken, and I sent that picture to Mike because I was like, what is the signal here? You guys can't even get your own your sign needs repair. How good can your shoe work be?
That's a great question.
But what's been going on with you, man? I know we check in every month, so I know probably goes on within those periods of time, but things still can happen. So how you been?
Things can happen and have happened. I'll tell you, yesterday I finished, I think we probably talked a little bit about the Absolute DC comics. I just read the Batman, Absolute Batman Volume 2 with like new Bane and then all the new creative villain origin stories. It's just like, it's an experience that like when I finished it, I was like, I want to just keep having it. And it's like a weird thing because you can't, with a comic or like with anything, with a work of art, you can look at it. If it's like a painting, you can be like, I'm just gonna keep looking at this painting. With like a song, you can listen to it over and over, and you can like read a thing over and over, but you can't keep having the exact experience over it. But I'm like, but I want to, because it felt it was such a cool, creative, artistic experience. Another creative, cool, artistic experience I had less than a week ago. Last week, Thursday, I went to, do you guys know Todd Glass, the comedian?
Yeah, the comedian, yes.
Yeah, Todd is one of, like, I've seen him called a comedian's comedian. Like, for every comedian's comedian, he's like your favorite comedian's favorite comedian's favorite comedian. Like he's one of Gary Goldman's favorite comedians. And like, I've known Todd, like we've been on festivals together. Like, and I think he did my podcast once. I've been on his show, and but he's been at it since the 80s and is just like operating at an incredible level. And he has a show that let's see. Oh yeah, I'm using his the ticket from it as a bookmark right now. Todd Glass, The Event of a Lifetime. And it like literally, truly, there's like a few experiences I've had in my life where I'm like, I remember seeing my first Sondheim musical that I loved when I was just right out of college. And I remember seeing this group called the Neo Futurists do a theater show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival in 2015. And this, like, I mean, this just happened last week, but I really feel like I'm gonna remember because like I laughed more than I usually, like a higher quantity of higher quality laughs. Like half an hour in, he has a full band on stage. He has like a 6 or 7 piece band. There's like a trombonist who also plays the trumpet. There's, drummer, keyboard, like, and they're all great musicians and funny improvisers, and he does like bits with them. He'll be like, give me something nice that's not patriotic, go, and then they'll do something for a minute and he'll stop. Like I it's impossible to describe. You know how like the best things and like the most meaningful, substantial, sacred things, you're like, what is God? And you're like, well, that's hard to get into, the ineffable, like, oh, it's love. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Like, but what is this beautiful? It's just a beautiful, incredible artistic experience. And I was messaging a friend about it afterwards. And I was like, I just saw this incredible show. I rarely go to comedy shows, or I don't. Yeah, comedy shows. I go to a lot of comedy shows that I'm on. Like, most nights of the week, I'm going to a show.
When you go to comedy shows as a comedian, do you take in the other comics, or because I know in New York, you can go up multiple times in the night. So like, is it really a situation where it's like, I'll sit around, enjoy this hour and a half of comedy, then I'll go perform at the next one and enjoy that hour and a half, or do you just pop in, pop out?
Great question. I think that more often I pop in, pop out, unless there's a particular reason. Like if there's like a good friend on the show, or like somebody whose comedy I specifically love, then I'll absolutely, like, I'll go to Gary Gulman shows that I'm not on. Because if I don't have anything going on that night, I'll be like, I can go hang out at this place, and Gary is my friend, and also sometimes he'll put me on the show, but even if he doesn't, I'm like, I'm happy to take that in. When I'm on a show, yeah, it's kind of not hit or miss, but last night I was hosting a show, so I did watch the other 5 or so comedians, and I was happy too, because like it was closed out by Dan Natterman, who is super funny, and like I don't see him all the time, so it's nice to see someone who I haven't. This is like the perfect storm of me watching. Is number 1, I was hosting, so I had to stay. Number 2, a comedian who I think is super funny that I haven't seen in a long time, who is also a friend, so in those situations, like my friend Liz Glazer, who I think you've had her on the show, right?
I don't know if we had her on, but we have. Yeah, we had Liz Glazer on. Yes,
I've certainly recommended you both to each other, and she is one of my dearest friends. And like, if we're on a show together, a thing that I'll do is I'll often like watch her and like take notes in my texts and text her like, I like this, I like that, I got an idea for this, if you want to do that. But mostly just like, this is funny, that's funny, like, which is in some ways taking me out of the moment for a moment to show gratitude for and celebrate and appreciate the moment. And I try to, like, there's no such thing as multitasking. It's only, monotasking really fast back and forth. They say your brain literally like this task, that task. And I'm like, I'm watching, I'm enjoying, I'm telling you about it. What was that one? And it's the, the issue that I have when I'm on mushrooms as well, where I'm like, I'm enjoying the moment and I want my future self to remember this moment. And so I better hold the moment, and let me jot down. But so that show was incredible. The Todd Glass show.
Is it called something, or is it just Todd Glass?
Yes, show? Todd Glass, the event of a lifetime.
The event of a lifetime. Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. Well, check it out if you guys are out there. In the time that we've talked since we last talked, I've caught up completely on Absolute Batman as well. Because when I first saw the cover art, I was
everybody looked juiced up.
I was very close-minded. I was like, you guys say this is great, but this just looks like superheroes on steroids to me. And I think baseball told us something about superheroes and records and steroids. And I know all of these comics will be disavowed by the Comics Hall of Fame one day when we catch Batman and Superman on these PEDs. But I got enough good recommendations, including yours, that I went and checked it out. And it is really good. But it is so like weird that it's weird because you talked about comics and how you wish you could go back again. I feel like comics is constantly going back again. Absolute
Yeah, that's
Batman
all
is
it
like,
does.
what if we just told a story again, but this time a different type of way and more badass and
Hmm.
and what if Bane came back? We all know Bane from the This Ain't Your Daddy's Bane. This is absolute Bane. He's cuckoo bananas. So I feel like that is what comics is us all trying to forget that we already know this and go, oh, the mom died in this one, not the dad or whatever.
Oh yeah, like not to spoil too much, but in every one of the absolute DC stories, they change at least one thing, and then everything else ripples forth from that, or they change a bunch of other stuff as well. Like I'm reading, the Superman one.
Me
He's
too.
not a baby. He gets to Earth as he's like a teenager,
Right.
whereas Batman, it's not exactly that both of his parents died like they did in the
Right.
original. Wonder Woman is raised in the underworld. She's Underwoman, and just man, being here, it's really creatively inspirational. Also, speaking of comics, I think I can't. Last time I was here, I was about to go on Comic-Con the cruise, and so since I've been
Yes.
here,
Mhm.
I did go. I forgot if I'd gone if
Yeah.
I was here
How
before or
was
after.
it?
It was really awesome. Rini and I got flown down to Tampa and we went out for 4 days. We were supposed to hit the Bahamas, but there was some weather that prevented that. So we stopped
It
in
was a perfect
Mexico.
storm. Just like
Yeah.
just like you seeing Gary Goldman.
What was the coolest costume you seen, Mike? Because with stuff like that, people wear their costumes.
Oh, absolutely. So Rini dressed as a character from the show The Leftovers. Did you guys watch that?
I watched
Roger
The
have. I
Leftovers.
haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What character did she go as though? Because I love The Leftovers, but I can't think of it in characters. Like I just think of it as like these people went through a thing.
Yes. So I think you'll understand when I say she went as one of the members of the cult, the Guilty
Yes.
Remnant.
Yes, that is a good
Mm.
costume. Oh, that
So
is so good. Shout out to Damon Lindelof because I did not like the way Lost ended, and I was very upset.
A
Probably
lot of
obviously unreasonably so. You
a,
should never really be that upset of a TV show, but
a
I was very
lot of
upset at
people
him.
were. Yeah.
Because I felt like they lied and they got to the end and they were like, "It's really about the journey, guys. Isn't this about the friends we made?" I was like, "You promised there would be an answer," but then he did The Leftovers, and I was like, oh, this is the guy who doesn't end things well, and this whole show's a mystery. I'm gonna watch it, get to the end. He's not gonna answer the question, and I'm gonna be mad at Damon Lindelof all over again. It'll be my fault because I knew this time. But you know what? I believed in him. I gave him a second chance, and he killed it on The Leftovers. It's one of the best shows ever. And he killed it on Watchmen. So, like, you know what, Damon Lindelof, you're all right in my book.
he learned, and just wait until his next show, which is going to be called The Lostovers.
He's gonna fix it. It was all a long play.
you know, two things. One, I really do think he learned from the Lost experience of like and planned out the Leftovers more. Like the ending is still like, kind of there's ambiguity and
Right.
mystery, but it's also very satisfying and like
Yeah.
especially like when they start that last season and you're like, what? Is this like
Yes.
it really? I feel like he was trolling us with like trying to trick us into being like, is this going to be another Lost debacle? But they should have called that show Found in the end. Because it was really in some ways like the anti-Lost. It really did. It was
Yeah, it
sort of
really
also like
was.
what Larry David did with like people were some disappointed in. I think the Seinfeld ending was great in a
Right.
lot of ways. I think it was really cool. I understand why some people felt otherwise, but I really
Yeah.
feel like he nailed it. Like whatever you thought, whether you liked or
It was
didn't like the Seinfeld ending.
it was very high concept, and I like that they picked something that was meta and broke kind of that fourth wallish feel. I like that kind of stuff because like I I think a lot of times people think they want a perfect, great like ending that just completely wraps it up in a circle. But I think some of the more memorable endings are the ones where you're like, wait, what? Like the ending of Sopranos, where you're like, what was that? But I'll always remember that ending for the rest of my life. I'll remember that ending way more than if like he walked in the garage and some guy just shot him, and you was like, oh yeah, okay, that's the end of the story.
Oh, absolutely. And so when Larry David ended Curb the way that he did, as like
Yes.
a 25-year later callback to another
Seinfeld.
TV show, like it was
Ah,
really, really beautiful. I will also say, Ms. Barnes is in the comments.
Mhm.
I'm on the island by myself. I loved how Lost ended. I also like it absolutely, like, brain wise,
Mhm.
didn't like solve it, didn't give everything that it seemed like
Right.
it was promising it would. Like, what did those numbers mean? We never
Right.
know. Who knows? But heart wise, like, there
Well,
was a
it's
satisfying nature
here's
to it.
what happened, Mike. Here's what happened. I don't so in hindsight, I don't necessarily think it's the show that like lets you down. I think it's the media around the show and our obsession with it, because it was interviewing them and it was like, "What are you going to answer the question? Are you what about this? What about that?" And that's how every interview ended up becoming for Lindelof and crew. And so I can imagine, as a creative who's writing a product that is based on suspense, it is probably very difficult to do those interviews without essentially giving away everything. And
right.
then you're still coming up with it, some of it. So you're like, we have a plan. We know what it's going to be. But plans change over the course of 5, 6 years that you take to record things. So it didn't help that everybody was trying to guess. And once the culture of guessing the show got bigger than the show, with like forums and conversations, it's almost like there was no right answer, because everything was going to be something we had guessed, right? I mean, there's not infinite stories. So it either would be something that didn't make sense, or it would be something that we all guessed. And I think they got to the end and they shouldn't have done that 2 hour pre-video thing that was like, guys, you're gonna answer all the questions. If they should have never done that. If they just go straight to here's the finale, I feel like I could probably go back, watch it now, and be like, oh no, because it actually hit the heart narrative beats, not the it didn't hit the sci-fi narrative beats that made me go A plus B equals C. It hit the like, oh man, Jack got closure. Oh, this, him and his son found each other, whatever, like those type of things. Instead, I was just mad because I was like, but what about the polar bear or whatever? And that didn't work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, beef. I feel like I've heard stories of like people filming things these days, like having fake scripts and then,
Yep.
only having the crew there that they need, so as
Right.
few
Hmm.
people as possible
Yep.
know. And but I do like that, as big as Seinfeld was, and there was all this speculation, there were like fake scripts, I think, online of like, and I do think that one of the ways that that ending was so masterful was there were, I think, maybe if I don't know if I'll remember all three, but there were like three theories of what would happen. One was that like Elaine and Seinfeld would get married or get back together. One
Mhm.
was that they'd all die in a plane crash. And one was that their pilot, that had gotten canceled years earlier, would get picked up and they would have a happy ending. And I believe they were on a plane on the way to sign a deal where their pilot was going to get picked up, and the plane hit turbulence and was almost going down. So we're like, are they going to get the pilot? Is the plane going to crash? And while the plane was crashing, they were like, maybe we should get married. And then, or
Yeah.
like, I love you. And then the plane didn't crash. And they were like, never mind, we're not going to be together. And then instead of
Yeah.
getting their pilot, they got their comeuppance. And so I was
Yeah.
like, that was, I mean, I feel like Larry David was like the perfect person to like play the notes of media, like,
Yeah.
because like I know what you're going to expect, and these are a lot of great options. And who knows if other people thought like these people just deserve not to be happy because they don't want anyone else to be happy. And but yeah, I think they did an incredible job. Also, Karen, to answer your question from earlier, a great costume that I saw on the ship on the Comic-Con cruise was somebody was dressed as a TARDIS, the phone booth from Doctor Who.
Oh
Like
wow.
legit,
Wow.
it was, and they also had like a full size TARDIS like replica on the ship. They had two of the Doctor Who actors,
Mhm.
Arthur Darvill and Alex Kingston, were two of the guests that were on board as well. So there was like a big Doctor Who presence,
It's
and yeah.
a couple of things about the Comic Con cruise. So you're on a cruise or you're stuck on the ship. I know during those cons, a lot of times people are like selling autographs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I wonder if it would be weird to like sell somebody your autograph and then just see them at the buffet like 2 days later. You know what I mean?
I, I
Like,
100%. I'll tell you this. So one of the people who was on the ship was Jason Isaacs. You know that guy?
yeah.
He plays Draco Malfoy's father in Harry Potter in the movies, Lucius
Mm.
Malfoy. He's, the father on the recent season of White Lotus. He's been in a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. He's a big celebrity. He's a big star. He's on the ship. He's like a nice man to talk to. Like Rini and I got to have like a meal or two with him, and we would see him around the ship. And I'm gonna tell you, here's like a poignant moment. So like all of the celebrities on the ship were like, there were specific like hour or 2 hour chunks where you could stand in line and pay for an autograph, and they were all autographs for sale. Some people might have been $100, some might have been $50. You get a photo or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was out at the pool deck, and there's like a little like foods a snack area there, like a snack bar, and he was sitting there chatting with someone, and I then was chatting with them, and then this guy comes over and he's like, "Sir, look, you dropped your." It was either his wallet or his key card that he needs to like get into everywhere, get off the ship, get on the ship, and I think it was his key card. And it was like, "Sir, you," and he was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," to this guy. And then the guy was kind of just standing there, and he was like, "Oh, can I like? Did you want to chat? Did you want to ask anything?" And the guy was like, "I was wondering if I could get your autograph." And he's like, "I'm really sorry that I can't do it now. Contractually, you're only allowed to give autographs." Or I think maybe he asked for a photo. He has like, "Can we take a selfie?" He asked for a selfie. He's like, "I'm sorry, we can only do photos in the designated times
Right.
because," and he's like, "That's in my contract." And it's in part because, if you can understand, if we were not assured, like if people were always coming up to us on the ship,
Right.
like we would be mobbed, and it would be impossible for us to really have like a human
Yep.
experience as well, because we're human beings,
Right.
Mhm.
even though we are movies as well. And he's like, so they'd be unable to attract celebrities to be on the ship if they couldn't
Right.
guarantee that you would have the time to, I'll
Mm.
happily have a conversation with you, I'll happily like interact, but just specifically can't do an autograph, can't do a photo except at the
Wow.
designated
That's
times.
that's
Yeah.
gotta be so awkward and weird.
Yeah, and
And
it's
then
all go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
the
Sorry.
guy was like, "But I saved you."
Right. He's like, actually, my key card, punk. And he just put it in his pocket. What were you gonna say, Karen?
Throw it
I
out.
really appreciate you saving me, and I still am sorry I cannot contractually help.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing. And to an extent, I understand that. It's just like a lot of times, like I won't say normal people, we don't experience that because we're not being consistently mobbed or
Mhm.
people consistently asking us for something like that all of the time. So for us, we think that that's an abnormal standard. But to an extent, I can understand it. Like I remember when me and Roderick did one of our very, very, very first live shows in DC. Um, we had got off the stage and people started talking. All of a sudden, the line started forming. It confused me and Roderick because we was at a con, but I've never
Right.
been on the side of like being like a panelist on the con. So all of a sudden, the line started forming. I was like, okay, a line is forming. I was very confusing. And then somebody walked up. They was like, "How much do you charge for your autograph?" I was like, I
Right.
don't understand.
Yeah,
Why would
we
I charge you for it?" Like in my brain, I was like, "Why would I charge you for an autograph and a picture?" Like I was like, "I'm not that important."
yeah, we took pictures with everybody and autographs for everybody for free, but we didn't know the rules of the game or any of that stuff. But to me, it's the cruise part that makes it more awkward because I feel like at a con, I'm getting in my car to leave.
Yes.
Whether this is a good experience or a bad experience, I'm home.
Yeah.
But if I have to like go back to my room for 4 days, man, like you really gotta hope everybody's cool. The other thing I was thinking too is like comic cons conferences have like this all the nerd ones have like the weird like reputation of like, oh, these stinky sweaty nerds and they're gonna be in their costumes and it's funky in there. But also cruises have the reputation of like, ooh, sexy time, all these hot people stuck together. It's gonna get crazy with all this alcohol. So what does it win at? Which one's out? Is it the man, these are socially awkward nerds, or the hey man, it's cruise time, whatever happens on international waters, Captain America can't stop it.
Yeah, I that's a great question. I do think that it's first. I'll say there also were some like security people that the upper echelon of of stars had access to that would like walk them to their events or meals or like get them secret routes to like
move
I remember
around.
like when I would perform in the big theater and I just like would walk in the door of the theater and they'd be like, all right, I'd walk down these stairs and then there's backstage. But then I was waiting at an event like to see like other people show up. And then I was like, I was there, like I did my event. I was in the theater. I was like, nobody else is here. Then eventually I was like, they got to walk past me. There's only one way to get backstage. But then all of a sudden the movie stars come out from backstage. I'm like, there are secret ways backstage that I don't know. So, but I do think it's sort of like, I mean, the question, there's sort of like an honor code, an honor system of like, hey, everyone, be cool. It just, if it says don't take photos, don't take, like, nobody is going to like tackle you if you like on the slide take a photo. But like, they're like, you signed up for the thing, like, please, like, you be cool, like, just everyone be cool. But, and as to your question of, which end of the spectrum, I really think it's like a nebula of everything. Like there was absolutely a few people that if you're like, imagine a stereotype of a Comic-Con attendee, and absolutely a few of those folks were there. I overheard some conversations that I was like, this would be like, you couldn't write it more authentically than this. But then also there's like families, there's people who, you're a fan of cool, of nerdy stuff, and you're also cool, both
socially
of you.
Awkward. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say cool.
Yeah, there's the whole spectrum. So absolutely, I'm sure there were definitely people who, I feel like the fact that the costumes, there was like one day that was like pajama day, and there was one day that was like official cosplay day. There's absolutely people cosplaying the whole time. There were professional cosplayers and a bunch of people, everyone who wanted to could bring whatever costume you want. But there was like one day where there was like a contest. It's like one day was the official, like, show up here, show up there, and there's like a catwalk and like like a runway.
Super cool, man. And also like fun. All the cosplay stuff, a lot of that stuff is sexy anyway. Like I feel like sexy and nerd kind of like changed in my lifetime. Like there's a lot of sexy nerds now, but like when I was coming up, it's like sexy was the opposite of nerd. But now it's like, no, we've made nerd cool enough that people are like, guess what? I've been hot this whole time, and I'll read comic books.
It used to be that if you were wearing glasses, you were definitely a nerd and couldn't be sexy. But then they take glasses off and be like, oh my god, it was sexy Superman the whole time.
What happened to Myq Kaplan? He was just here.
I have a new movie I'm working on. It's about a person who's gorgeous who doesn't have glasses. Maybe they shouldn't be gorgeous, but they don't have glasses. And then eventually at the end of the movie, they go through a makeover where they put their glasses on and they're more appealing, or they can live their life without people hounding them. And the movie is called That's All She.
Okay.
The reverse of She's All That.
I was gonna say that's how she wrote.
No, it's just
that's
reverse.
How she sees?
Because she couldn't see. The plot twist is she was nearsighted. So the whole movie, she's basically walking around.
She's bumping into stuff.
Can't see nothing.
At the end, she's like, "Oh, I'm hot.
I can read. Reading is hot."
That's what I look like.
I will say this also. This is how you two, the experience that you had where you became sudden celebrities at that event that you were at where people started forming a line. Here's how you're like Robert Redford. My understanding, I read a thing once that he was grateful when he started getting old enough that he could walk around and like literally like wasn't mobbed all the time. Like I understand in comedy, even like I've worked with comedians who, you know, sometimes will, if there's 300 people at a show, they'll go out and they'll like meet and greet every one of those people, take a photo, sign something, and be there for an hour after the show. And I know people, sometimes the same people, sometimes other people that are like, I'm not selling anything. I'm, you know, I want to rest in between shows. Like I'll invite a friend if they're here backstage, but I'm just not gonna go out. And then other people will do like a paid VIP thing where you're like, okay, like for anyone who wants to pay whatever 10, 20 extra or whatever it is, you get the show that you want and you get to hang out for 15 minutes, a half hour, 10, whatever it is, beforehand or after. And I think that it's all like, it all makes sense. I understand why anyone would want it, like from the perspective of like, I'm a human being. I'm not going to charge for my time, to I'm a human being with limited time. I'm going to charge for my time, or I don't want to charge for my time, so I just won't do anything. Like it all makes sense.
Yeah, we've done all of them with our own live events. I think we've had every single scenario. But also you've been, you know, touring around, going to different, where you been since last time? I know you're coming to Charlotte next month. We will be there. I already got our tickets.
Oh, incredible. That is so kind of you, and I absolutely, anytime in the future, I'll put you on the guest list.
You know what? I'm just doing it to honestly save my marriage, because I've seen Myq a couple times in person and met him.
I take it as a personal attack.
Yeah, she's not a very jealous person romantically, but she's very platonically jealous of me. Not of me getting to see Myq multiple times. So
I am. I was like, you got to eat good vegan with him. What is happening here? I missed out on all the action.
Keith Malley's in town now in Charlotte as well. Maybe we should organize a lunch, and then I'll have you surprise drop in on him again.
That's hilarious.
I love it. And then here's what, and Karen, you and I will arrange a surprise that we actually don't go to their lunch, we just go separate. So you can up the ratio of how much one-on-one time Rod has had one-on-one.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, Myq, you're a talker and I'm a talker. They might not never see us again. They might have to come in there and be like, y'all know what? It's time for one of you to leave this room.
Yes. But to answer your question, Rod, you now know about the future, but here's what happened in the recent past. I did, I think 2 days after we last spoke, Rini and I flew down to Florida and got on that cruise ship. We got back a few days later, and then the following weekend, I was supposed to have a bunch of shows in New York, and I got sick. And so, like, sick enough that I canceled shows for like 2 or 3 days, and then got back out there, had some more shows in New York, and then the final week of February, I flew to Phoenix, Arizona. I performed at a club in that area called it's called the Stir Crazy Comedy Club, which I think is a fun name, and it's unlike a lot of different comedy club names. You got your Chuckle Huts and Laugh Factories and Improvs and Funny Bones, but Stir Crazy. I don't think I don't know
really
the origin.
You have to be of a certain age to even know that was a movie. So I was like, is it based off the movie?
Yeah, maybe they're a fan of that movie, but for me, I just always I couldn't help thinking that it was just like an Asian restaurant, like some sort of stir fry place. But it was not. But yeah, it was really. It blizzarded in New York.
That would be a cool fusion restaurant. Like Stir Crazy, like they just give you 2 different dishes. Like, hey, here's General Tso's chicken and here's some curry. You stir it, we serve it.
But the only rule is it has to be crazy.
Yes. It has to be stirrable and it has to be crazy.
Yeah.
We don't give a damn. We just have a list of, you mix it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want a margarita, but also I would like some pudding. It's like, well, that's crazy.
Here you go.
One time, I was on a plane like 20 years ago, And it was at a time, I mean, I guess it's maybe similar to now. Like, it used to be they gave you food more regularly on a plane. Like now it's like only on like a longer flight and only if you're in certain seats. But it used to be, I feel like everyone on the plane got a meal, even like flying just a couple hours. And so it was a time I was, either I'm vegan now. I was at least vegetarian at the time. So I'd ordered the special vegetarian or vegan meal. And I remember the meal that came was described as it was either one of two things. I legitimately don't remember which one it was, and you'll understand why. But I remember it was either a burrito that came with marinara sauce, or it was a calzone that came with salsa. It was definitely not a culturally like sort of aligned combination. It was for sure an Italian and a Mexican fusion situation. They're like, you want some tomato sauce that doesn't go with the thing that you got? Here you go. But yeah, so that's Stir Crazy was born then.
Fusion restaurants are so interesting because like a lot of times they're hidden. Like
they have to be the right kind of fusion.
We have a place called Meto Pub, which it's in the Cut, it's in South Carolina. You just would never. It's like a strip mall adjacent. Like there's the strip mall part. There's like a Walmart and all these stores, and then it's off to the side, and it's not next to either other restaurants. Like it's like next to a tanning place,
right?
And which is next to a tire shop. It's weird. We just stopped there one day because it was like, oh man, is anything even open over here? I guess this place, and it's like Korean barbecue and Southern barbecue, but combined. And I was like, why hasn't everyone been making this? Why wasn't there a line out the door? Why did we have to discover this place like it was like the train to Harry Potter school or whatever?
Yes.
You guys, but it is weird but at the same time, I remember we also had a fusion restaurant. It went out of business, and it was Cajun, New Orleans food, and Japanese food. And it was terrible. It was bad.
That's a fusion you do not want. Like not to say you don't want it, but you didn't want their version.
No, you can say you didn't want it because it was like gumbo with ramen and stuff, and it was like that seemed better on paper than whatever you guys AI'd up in that menu in the back.
That is confusion. Chili confusion.
I do feel conned.
Yes, I did.
Yes, it's a con. And here's the thing: is just because you combine two things doesn't mean you're going to like it. Like peanut butter and jelly, incredible. Peanut butter and football, not as delicious.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I bet I've told you this before. I wonder if I tell you this every time I'm here. But do you remember, Rod? Have you ever read? I think you've read more comics than Karen. Karen, I'll ask you as well. Have you read or heard of Marvel 2-in-1 or Marvel Team Up?
Yes, I've heard of them. I wasn't a huge reader of them though.
So when I was starting out reading comics as a teenager, I loved Marvel Team Up because it was always two characters. Like, you have your Spider-Man comic, you got your Hulk comic, and you got your Captain America. But Marvel Team Up was almost always Spider-Man, if not in the beginning, but Spider-Man with somebody else. And you're like, incredible. I only got to get one comic and I get two heroes. And Marvel 2-in-1, same deal, except it was almost always the Thing from Fantastic Four and somebody else. And here's the thing about this. Pun not originally intended, pun accepted, And
well, that was fantastic. for what you were going for.
Out of my way is like they say on golf. That's a fantastic 4 when they're playing through. Like every once in a while, I feel like when I was a kid, I would see a comic book that on the cover was like, oh my God, finally together for the first time, two characters that you've never cared about separately. It's killer and slapstick, It's Death's Head and the Toxic Avenger. And I'm like, okay.
It was just so weird that this restaurant couldn't get it right. Like, and I get why on paper it would have, like, there's Cajun food, people love Cajun food. Japanese food, people love Japanese food. Like, I get it.
I do.
And it's like every time we tried the menu, it was different. And in a way, it was like seeing a stand-up comedian work on their hour over the course of a year. Because it's like we go back and they're like, okay, all right, y'all wasn't feeling the gumbo ramen. All right, we hear you. We hear you. How about this? How about this? Sushimi mac and cheese. And you're like, no, what? No,
No,
that is also
no.
bad.
Yes, that was, and it was terrible.
They're like, what else is in the stews?
Yeah.
Now,
What else do we got in the bag?
When they were running out of ideas, they come over to your table. They'll be like, "What do you do?"
yeah, what would you like to see? I don't know if you guys know. This sort of reminds me that when you were talking about the one that you like, and you're like, "Wow, why isn't there a line out the door? Why doesn't everyone know about this?" And it's kind of like the way that there are hidden gems of comedians, of musicians, like just like there's popular comedians who aren't our taste, and there's like
Right.
little known obscure artists who you're like, oh, I wish everyone knew this person should be more successful if there was any justice and meritocracy in the world. But it's just that not everyone finds out about everything proportionally. Like I just saw a thread today on Threads, where you find threads, from
I thought you meant like in a tailor shop or something.
I found a thread. It was a phantom. I was haunted. That movie Phantom Threads could have been called Ghost Bustiers. But the point is, there's a friend of mine, Jason Zinneman, is a critic for the New York Times. He covers comedy. He has covered theater. And he posted this thread today that just said there's a new comedy series starring Kevin Kline, Laura Linney, Tony Shalhoub, Jessica Hecht, and it begins with a New York Times theater critic getting attacked by a Shakespearean actor, and I didn't know about it. Culture's in a weird place right now. And I feel like my mom has these experiences where sometimes she's like, there's a new show with an actor I love and it's a genre I like. Like, why didn't anyone tell me? And because it's like, it's not just, there's not a monoculture where like everyone goes on, Carson or specific,
We don't have a unified thing. A lot of people fail to realize if you're of a certain age, there were things that where we all watched it together as a community, and if you didn't watch it, you were left out of the loop of whatever the conversations were. But now everything is so algorithm with the algorithms and stuff specifically to you, not to people as a mass, but specifically to you. So what I like in my experiences and my tastes are going to be, I'm going to have a completely different experience. I'm going to see completely different artists. I like things that I probably should see will never cross my path. They I won't know anything about them unless I'm willing to go outside of what the algorithm is telling me, which means you have to do the effort now. And a lot of people don't want to do the effort. They'd rather be not trying to funny consistently fed these things, and they go, well, this must be what I like, and this is what the world is. Then when they have conversations with other people, they were like, oh, I didn't know you like such. Well, yeah, I like such. And when people actually interact with each other, they realize there are things kind of outside of that algorithm.
I think also our our algorithms are so individually tailored to to ourselves online, because these computers and artificial intelligence and these recommendations, they've gotten so good. They know that they're so good now. They subconsciously know, like, you say you don't like blank, but you stop scrolling every time you see blank. So we're gonna show you more blank, even though it's making you crazy. Like I think that's another reason we don't have like a monoculture or whatever. We're going so many places for content. I think after the pandemic, when like all the streaming services we're green light and everything. We so and so got a black show, we got a black show. So and so got a gay show, we got 2 gay shows. Y'all got anime, everyone's got anime. And it's like, oh, now you guys kind of destroyed the thing we had, which was, I like anime. Oh, what do you watch? Cartoon Network, Adult Swim,
Crunchyroll, Funimation.
Yeah, well, that's actually getting bigger. Like I'm saying, it used to just be like, I watch Toonami on Cartoon Network. That's how I watch anime, or you gotta go to buy it, get it, rent it or something.
Yes.
Now it's like, you watch anime? Yeah, I watch it on Amazon Prime, Netflix, Peacock, Hulu. It's none of us is watching the same stuff as much as we used to.
That's true. And as somebody of a certain age, I remember before Cartoon Network, it was a big thing because I love cartoons, but you could never watch it 24/7. So I remember when Cartoon Network was like a premium channel, like HBO. It wasn't like included in your cable package like it was now. Like you had to pay to watch like Scooby Doo for 24 hours a day,
Right.
7 days a week, and things like that. So yeah, it kind of now it is everywhere. Oh, and
Right.
I kind of wanted to go back, not to get off topic.
No, that's what we do, Karen.
Okay.
Me and Mike
Karen.
always are going back.
Okay.
Honestly, I was thinking this. Everyone alive or dead is a has been.
Yes.
So we only can go back, Karen. Go ahead and go back.
Yes.
I think right now we're in is, but pretty soon.
And your future children are will be's, hopefully. But
Yeah.
no one knows, you know?
When we were talking about endings and shows ending and how fans kind of respond to things ending, I think me and Roger kind of talked about this, and I've come to this conclusion. I think people have created communities around these things. And when it ends, they're not going to be pleased no matter what happens. And they don't want to admit to themselves that they're going to miss setting that time a day to the side. They're going to miss, the friends that they created online, or the circles or the watch parties that they may have had where you're inviting everybody over. We're sitting, we're watching, talking about it all week online, or talking about it through that. Like that's the part
Yeah,
they're going to miss.
I
So
think-
there's nothing they could do to actually please people. People don't want to admit they're sad that it's ending.
Yeah, I said the anger, the anger at endings feels more like an anger of losing something, like it, because like Game of Thrones should not make that many people upset.
No.
You know what I mean? And the reason I say that is because these super fans that got upset, they knew all these other things that were happening, like George R. Martin didn't finish the books. They had to take long breaks in between. People, like actors can't just stay the same age like a character for 10, 20 years. Like when they come back, it's gonna be harder to do, and so they got to start wrapping it up. They knew that the show didn't get as many episodes as it got before, so like they had a bunch of reasons to expect, like, hey, this thing is gonna be fed. It's gonna be sped up. They're not gonna have the greatest dialogue because the guy who wrote the dialogue is not writing,
Right.
and they're gonna have to like get these actors back to their lives because they can't just keep
Hold them
expensively holding
forever.
these people forever. And some of these people are becoming like stars and shit. Like you keep going, Amelia Clark's gonna be like, I'm not coming back, guys. I'm doing 12 movies.
Right.
So we knew all that, and yet as it was happening, it's like, oh, one more episode closer to the end, and I'm not happy about it. I'm gonna be even madder next week, and it kind of ballooned.
Absolutely. I have two things. Number one, like you're talking about, Karen, you're like, people are sad. I think that's very astute, that there's something deeper going on than just the surface level. Like the show is ending. They had a relationship with the show. It's like a relationship is ending. There's grief, and the stages of grieving, like you pointed out, sadness, you pointed out anger. The 5 stages of a show ending are anger, sadness, bargaining, denial, and reboot. And and like I think I think it's very wise, very astute, very apt of you to point that out, Karen. And it reminds me of when I listen to Dan Savage's podcast, the Savage Lovecast, or read his column. This has come up a few times over the years that somebody calls in or writes in and is like, hey, somebody broke up with me in a way that I didn't like. Like they should, we were together long enough. Like they just ghosted me. Like obviously, but we'd been on enough dates. They shouldn't have ghosted me. Or we were together this long. They should have done a phone call, not a text. They did it by text and they should have done a phone call, or they did it by a phone call, but we were together so long. They should have done it in person. Like they did it, they flew, like they didn't fly to see me, and so his point was always like, ultimately, like you're probably upset that you're being broken up with, and so you're just projecting it onto the mechanism, the method, the how instead of the what. But it's really like, oh wow, if they broke, like, have you ever heard of, they broke up with me in exactly the perfect way. The relationship is over, and no notes. Like, oh my god, chef's kiss, no more kids.
That would be great. That would be great if someone had that story of like, you know what, my boyfriend was a jerk the whole relationship, but the breakup was so good that I can't be mad at the dude. It was a first class top quality
Break up.
breakup. We had grief counselors, he had food. It was amazing. He already had moved me out of the place and started my first month lease. Like, thank you for that
Yeah.
breakup.
And I think that like even when a show does reboot, like I'm enjoying the Scrubs reboot. Like I've enjoyed when they bring like,
What? I was told people don't want no scrubs. Are you saying people do want scrubs?
They do want Scrubs. It's like the highest rating show they done had in a long time.
What? Well,
Mhm.
TLC lied to me.
they're getting a lot of TLC. It's enjoyable. Like they're doing, it has a similar feel, a similar emotional kind of, but also like you can never have the same experience that you had because like you had the when Scrubs first came out, like I watched it, I'm like, oh wow, I've never experienced this before. Now I'm
Right.
watching it and I'm like, I've kind of experienced this before. I'm glad there's like new jokes, new characters, new storylines, new experiences that they're figuring out. Like that guy, the creator is good. He also made like what Ted Lasso, which I love, and has made Shrinking, and like there's lots of really good emotional stories going on and funny stuff. And also it goes back to my wanting to read the Absolute Batman that I just read again, but not again, just like again for the first time. I'm like, I want to have what I had again. Like it's the way that like comedy, when you like a comedian, a thing you love about a comedian, one part of it is usually that they're consistently surprising. Like you can
Mhm.
count on this person to always say something that you have no idea what they're going to say, because that's what's enjoyable about if you knew what was going to happen and you're like, so I know what's going to happen is I'm going to go in and I'm going to have an experience where I don't know what's going to happen. It's like psychedelics. You want the proper set and setting. You'd be like, all right, I'm here and I know and I'm open to whatever's going to happen. And then, you've had enough experience. You're like, I've seen Reggie Watts before. I've seen Maria Bamford before. And now to see them say new things that they've worked out or are improvising on the spot, like it's, a beautiful thing. Like I'm actually kind of, I like when, I mean, not that I like when a show that I love ends, but there is a satisfaction. And like, I like being in the middle of a good thing. Like I just watched the show, The Night Manager. Have you guys
Mhm.
watched The Night Manager with
I
Thomas
haven't
Hiddleston?
watched it,
Mhm.
but I
It's,
heard it's like a limited series, right?
yeah, there's 2 6 episode seasons. There's one that came out like 10 years ago and one that came out like 1 year ago. And it's like Hugh Laurie, Olivia Colman, Thomas Hiddleston. They're all like great actors. And it's like, I'm not a spy that you know of. So I don't know how realistic it actually is,
Right.
but it seems more realistic than a lot of like, action packed, like beach read spy shows where it's like, like Jason Bourne, he's like running and punching and fighting but this one, there's a lot more like waiting and like surveilling and like,
Yeah,
like in this show, there's
yeah.
like, not to spoil anything, but like one character's like, all right, we're going to embed you in that person's organization. So it's probably going to take many months. And then, it's not just like, oh my God, the White House is going to explode tomorrow. There's like, all right,
That's right.
slow burn, but it's like, I loved watching it. And I'm also glad that I got to experience the whole story of it. And I can go watch it again, or I could share it with Rini because she didn't watch the whole thing.
Right.
I'm like, and then experience it like watching it through a loved one's eyes. Oh, also to go back to the same thing that you went back to, Karen. Thank you for piggybacking, allowing me this leapfrog. One show that I feel like I appreciate what you're talking about, Rob, when there is like an ambiguous ending, like a meaningful, like a Sopranos type ending. And also, I don't know if you guys watch one of my favorite shows, one of our favorite shows in this household is 6 Feet Under. And the ending, the final episode of 6 Feet Under was like so satisfying in exactly the opposite of The Lost way. Like it's like very clear and very like just momentous and like all encompassing, and like they did it. I don't want to spoil it, but it is an incredible, like we're gonna rewatch it at some point because it's just like
on the creative side too, I really like now that I've been on the other side of something, I like to see creators that got to know that they when the end was going to be for their project, so
Yes.
they get to tailor it to that, because a lot of times you can see when artists get like blindsided, where it's like, we're gonna write this with the hope that we get another season, and then they end it and it's a cliffhanger, or it's place for the characters to go, and then like canceled, and you're like, oh, I'll never know what happened. But
Yes.
sometimes, even if they have to kind of rush through it, to know like, hey, so we gave you green light for 13 more episodes. This is it. The finale for the season is, you got a year to write it or whatever. I like that, knowing like, okay, they got to do it. Limited series, same thing. I was like, oh, cool for them. They knew going in 6-7 episodes is the whole story and we're done. Because the stress the other way just sucks. Of like, do we get renewed? Yeah, no. Do I rent my house? Do I lease it? Do I buy it? What do I?
Yeah, what do I do? And I know, what was it? Miss Carter.
Oh yeah,
Captain Carter.
Yeah, isn't it Agent Carter?
Agent Carter.
Yeah, Agent Carter.
I'm about to say she's been Captain Carter, like she's been it all. But
Yeah.
hey, Miss Carter.
Hey.
I remember Roger watched that show live, and I remember he watched it years before I did, and when we would talk about it, he would be so livid, and I didn't understand why. So years later, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it. So I was watching it, and the way that it ended, I was like, oh shit, now let's go. And Netflix looked at me. It was like, yeah, it's gonna be something else. And the way I busted that door open, and you talking about something that's probably 10 years old, but now the way I busted that door open, look,
It wasn't 10 years old, but it was like, she didn't watch it when it came out during like Agents of Shield, and so she watched it. She binged it during the pandemic. And I was in the living room playing video games, and then she just bust out of the bedroom like, "Well, how can they just end it like that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I was big mad. He had to calm me down for me to explain.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I was mad about years ago. That sucked. That was the worst."
Do you guys know the comedian Hari Kondabolu?
Mm-hmm.
He's a friend of mine. He's really funny. He used to you know Kamau Bell as well.
Mm-hmm.
W. Kamau Bell used to have a show called Totally Biased that shot in New York, and I was fortunate enough I got to do warm up comedy for the show, like warm up the audience before they came in. Got to see the show's taping, so I saw Hari do a segment because he was a writer on it and a correspondent, and he did a segment when I think Mindy Kaling's first sitcom was coming out. Like, it was the first time Mindy Kaling, like the Mindy Project, maybe. And he's like, this is the first Indian American star of a sitcom. And he brought us through all of the history of Indian representation in American TV and movies from like within our lifetime. The movie Short Circuit, remember? Johnny Five, number 5. Like, there was an Indian character in that movie in the 80s, an Indian character played by a white person in our lifetime.
Yeah,
and
it used to be bad in the 80s. Man, they didn't care. They was just like, we gonna slap something on you, and you're gonna go out there and act.
I remember when I went to look it up on IMDb, because I that's one of my favorite movies, Short Circuit. Oh my
Mine
God.
too. Johnny Five
alive. No, disassemble.
I wore that VHS.
Honestly, you know what? Mike kind of remind me of Johnny Five a little bit.
Yeah.
Y'all could be cousins. And I remember I went to the IMDb to be like, what happened to all those actors that was in it? And I was like, who's this white man? Like, that was an Indian man. And then it blew my mind. There's also the Puerto Rican woman in Aliens, the one with the Marines. Not Puerto Rican. She's just like a Jewish lady.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I know, man.
Curly hair, close enough. Also, on the subject of me being, robot-like, have I ever showed you my tattoo?
No. Let me see.
Okay, one moment.
What if it's like on his butt? Oh, it is a little robot with a heart in the middle.
The heart was there first. A year later, I got the robot. But the reason I bring up Hari, and the great news about progress in our lifetime that now we generally don't have white people playing other races,
Right.
which is a good step forward. And
Yes, it is.
he went through, he's like, we had Abed on Community, and there's different kinds of brown people representing on TV. And his eventually, like, the main comedic thesis that he got to was, he's like, thank goodness now there's so many Indian people on television, I don't even have to like all of them. Like, I don't have to support.
That's when you've reached equality.
I was talking to a friend today, and we were talking about that with quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, as a black person, when it was just like super racist and they didn't let black people play quarterback,
right?
It didn't matter how bad that quarterback was that got a chance. I was ready to start a lawsuit to the Supreme Court if people were like, I don't know, he threw 12 interceptions.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
we should.
I don't care. You better I was like, talk bad about Donovan McNabb.
Other people have thrown 12 interceptions, and they, I was just defending everything. But then I remember one year there was enough black quarterbacks that I just remember vividly being like, oh, this guy stinks.
Boo!
Yeah. I was like, am I booing a black guy? Well, I mean, there are 13 now that like you can. I'm not. This is no longer a racial cause. This is just football now. Get the hell off the field. You're blowing it.
This is incredible. Also, so I'm going to make a brief analogy in a moment, but first, Marlene in the comments says, I like how Hank Azaria quit The Simpsons because of guilt. Just to give full credit where credit is due, that is inspired by Hari Kondabolu's movie, which I believe was called The Problem with Apu, where I don't think Hank Azaria did sit down to be interviewed for that movie, but he did learn about its existence and didn't immediately put down the Apu voice, but did shortly thereafter was like, good.
And gave he's given really solid interviews on it. I've loved his answers on it because they're not just I felt guilty or like, man, this woke DEI. I just was like, bro, fuck it. Like, it's very like, I absorbed the message. I think these people are correct. And it's in the face of a lot of times these interviewers, they think they're doing the interviewee a service by defending them. And he pushes back on the defense like, no, it wasn't woke people or whatever. Like, whatever bullshit you're saying, that's not what happened. They genuinely had a real cause, and they were right.
Right, and also a lot of times when they come at them like that, they're going, "Aren't you the victim?" And they're going, "No."
I appreciate it.
I'm not doing that. And somebody had brought up Robert Downey Jr. Tropic Thunder. Well, people fail to realize with that's a different scenario.
Yeah, that's satire on white people that do that. So I was fine. Not only was I fine with that, I love that.
Like, that was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Like I hate that after the Tumblr revolution of the internet, some people became so literalist that they would be like, Robert Downey Jr. did blackface. And I'm like, that's not the same. Like, what? It does matter the context. You can't just throw a sentence out and then I go, well, I'm stupid. I guess I don't need to look into this any further.
Put like this. Ask somebody who was alive at the time when that movie came out, and ask everybody and their mama went to go see that movie live. Ask somebody, they had the most celebrities you would ever see in your lifetime. Nobody even knew Tom Cruise was in that movie to the motherfucking end. You cannot tell me that people didn't understand the context of what was happening at that time. Like you say, when it comes to that, people just go blackface, but you go, well, it's more to it than blackface.
Let me say this though. There was a time where people would you go watch Nerds or something, and there's stuff in Nerds where you're like, oh no, that's not another level of clever. They just did the fucked up thing in the movie, know. So and people, and it was popular and people did like it. I'm just saying, in this very specific case, this was thoughtful. It was addressing the issue you're upset about by saying, isn't this stupid?
Isn't this ridiculous?
And so that's why that works to me.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I validate, I agree with everything you're saying. And I don't know if we ever talked about the use mention distinction, like when, discussing, let's say, a racial slur or a slur of any kind, like in academic settings, if you're reading Mark Twain and you come across a word, you're not to mention the word still has some weight to it. Like,
Right.
it's not to say that mentioning it is fine and using it is not, but there is a difference between saying like, hey, no one should say this word. Like, let's say heeb, for a Jewish slur, like, I'm like, hey, if somebody's like, you heeb, you dirty heeb, screw you heeb, like, that's using the word in an attempt to be with hateful, hurtful intention. But if I say, hey, please don't call me a heeb, I'm not using the word, I'm mentioning the word. And so I feel like that's what was happening with blackface in that movie. They weren't using it, they were mentioning it. It wasn't really black, it was blackface face. It was like there was quotes around blackface, like using it thoughtfully, the way that you said, just to button up why I brought up Hurry and not having to support every Indian in show business, like you not having to support every black quarterback. I feel the same way now about Marvel entertainment. Like, when it was only Spider-Man movies, I was like, give me them all, like, mainline them into me, like all the Avengers, I'm like, all the Thors, like all and now I'm like, I can't watch them all. Like, I did watch I watched Shield when it was on, but I don't think I finished. At a certain point, I was like, I don't need all of Shield, and I didn't get into Agent Carter. At some point on a long enough timeline, I would. Like, I'm happy that they're making these things, but it's
what that also is a function of is how much we have taken our entertainment as like a chore. Like, here's how I stay relevant in my society, by absorbing all the tentpole media,
and it's wearing
and obviously it's impossible to keep up because and I try to be mindful and actively seeking like my joy. So like, like me and Karen, we are the people that keep up on all the Marvel, all the Star Wars, all the things. But that's because we're still having so much fun. I feel like if I
didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't watch it. I'm gonna tell you
that
like
now. If
I
was a Star Wars person who like the only thing I love is like Andor and Rogue One, I don't know why you would ever watch the other stuff. It's not like that. Like, none of it is. Like, you're going to eternally be like, I'm disappointed again. I guess I don't like swords or whatever. It's like, no, it's okay. You can just tap in for the thing you like and then just tap out. You don't got to know all of it. And for the most part, like, knowing all of it is like a cool thing in itself for like those of us who like are into that, to be like, oh man, that's just like in The Mandalorian when they went to Tatooine and he didn't even know this. That's cool, but like, it's also good if you don't know that. You can still enjoy these things. I think Marvel's gotten to that point, which I think is honestly a very good thing for Marvel, that they've gotten to a point where someone could be like, I just like Miss Marvel. It's like, that's what they wanted when they the reason they make Miss Marvel is not because you're gonna watch all of it, but it's because we got one thing you will watch and you'll keep paying for the one thing, and that's gonna have to be enough for us because we're so huge now.
Yes, and something that Roger brought up years ago when the Marvel movies and things came out. I think you did. You was like, they're gonna get to the point where it's gonna be like real life comic books, because you read comic books heavy. And Roger said on the show years ago, he was like, you're not gonna be able to keep up with everything. You're gonna narrow it down, and you're gonna be like, I like Black Panther. If it ain't Black Panther, don't holler at me.
As a comic book reader, I saw the writing on the wall, like after like Iron Man or whatever. Like, people were like, well, one day they'll just like you think after Endgame they'll be done? I was like, oh my poor naive Padawan. They're never done. Yeah. Even when you think they're done, which one day it'll be 50 years from now, and you'll go, okay, they finally have to be done. No one even watched the last movie, and they'll go, you know what? You're right. Iron Man 1. We got a new guy playing Robert Downey Jr. We're doing it again. Like, that's comic books. The amount of characters I know who have died and just are never going to die, that is what this is. And maybe people are slowly realizing it 10 years into the MCU, but like, hey guys, I hate to tell you this, y'all reading comic books. They just made them with real people, but you are reading comic books. Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, the concept, will one day have to die because he's gonna die. But Iron Man by itself, the concept, it's never gonna die. They're selling it to your grandkids.
Yeah.
Also, I will say that what with artificial intelligence, maybe Robert Downey Jr., even when he dies in the future, will have a Iron Man. And I will say this: I agreed 100%. I now, as like sort of a recovering completist, somebody who did want to read, watch, take in all the things that I could love. Like there's more things that I could love that like stand-up specials, comic books, advice columns, Marvel stuff, all of it. So now I content myself to know that if I'm like, what show am I watching now? What special do I want to watch? I have like a queue, not just Netflix, but just like, here's the things that I want to get to on. If I had an infinite timeline, I would watch these 100 movies, these 50 shows, these books, these musicians. And like, as long as when I have the time to listen to something, like while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm doing something where I'm like, oh, I could be taking in some media while I'm doing this other thing, or at night, or if Rini is out and I'm like, I've got 2 hours to myself, what's something that I want to watch? And it doesn't have to be the perfect thing, but it has to be I want it to be something I'm like, this thing, I want this thing, it'll be if it's this thing, then if it's above a certain line, then I'm like, then it doesn't matter which one it is. I'm like, oh man, I should have been, I'm not done with Righteous Gemstones yet. Why am I starting this other thing? I'm like, well, it's cool. If I want to start the other thing, I'll start the other thing. I want to finish Righteous Gemstones.
And also that. Like, you can always go back and finish it later. I do that a lot now. I just did that with Gen V, where like I watched 4 episodes and I was like, I got caught up, something that Fallout came out or something. And then I was like, oh yeah, I never finished Gen V. And nice little treat for me. Like, oh, if anything, I had less to go. I was like, oh, I already watched half. I'll just watch the rest of the half. And then, like it still was good to me. I still was satisfied. I think the main thing for me, the way that I can stay so positive is because I did stop seeking community around the content I absorb. So I don't talk to people because I think there's a general tenor of FOMO. Yes, and I think it makes us more down on things and up on things. Cause like, it's double the pressure. It's one, I'm missing out on some other thing that might be great, but it's also I'm watching this thing and it's not great. So it's like, oh, this is all thumbs down over here. I don't want to be part of this.
I 100% agree. And I think that you have to be content with not consuming everything. You can't consume everything, and everybody knows you can't consume everything. But when you're in community or you talk to people, a lot of times it's hard because all of a sudden you feel like you got a homework assignment. It's like Jeremy Funny, they giving you shit that you ain't gonna watch, and you giving them shit that they ain't gonna watch.
Wait, why are you not trying to be funny? This is a comedy podcast. It's okay. You can try to be funny.
Okay,
don't worry about it.
You don't have to try to be funny. You are doing it. I have three things if I can get to them. One, when the show.
But imagine if she tried, Myq. All this time, 3,000 episodes, you was been out here existing and funny. All right, go ahead, Myq. You got it.
Thank you. So I don't know if you watched 24 when that show was on.
Yeah, we definitely watched 24.
24 is our beast. We watched all the 24 years of 24. Chloe. Jack,
oh yeah,
let's go.
It was really awesome. I enjoyed watching it a lot, and at a certain point, I stopped watching it week by week as it came out because I was like, I don't want to wait a week, so I'd wait until halfway through the season or the whole way through the season. I remember one time I was like on call as a resident assistant at BU, and I had to stay in my room for 24 hours, and I watched a whole season of 24, which took, because it's only like 45 minutes. It's like literally, I think I was watching for like 15 hours, like maybe not the exact whole season, but I watched for 15 hours in a row. And then a friend of mine, like on a message board that I was a part of, was like, hey, the new season of 24 is starting. Let's all, whoever wants to talk about it, let's watch. And so I was like, all right, I'll be a part of the community. And I started watching it the way that I knew that I didn't prefer to watch it, so that I could talk with my friends about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, not to say I can talk to my friends about other stuff.
Right,
like,
exactly.
It's not a choice between 20, like how I want to enjoy 24 and friendship. I'm like, I can have my friendship and I can have my media consumption the way I want to. That's one thing. Another thing, couple weeks. So my mom and her boyfriend just went to a show on Broadway that Renee and I saw a month earlier. The show is, I wonder if we talked about it last time I was here, because I think, the last time I was here, we were about to go see it, like right after we finished. It's called All Out. It's a companion show to a year earlier, All In, both written by Simon Rich, who wrote for The New Yorker. He's written short stories. They've been turned into TV shows. He wrote for Saturday Night Live. And so he created this Broadway presentation, I think with John Mulaney initially. And it's 4 people on stage at a time, basically like reading/acting out his short stories. And like the first ones were All In was love themed and All Out was ambition themed. And actually the first time, tying a lot of this stuff together, the first time we saw All In like a year ago, Hank Azaria was one of the actors in it and he was incredible. When we saw All Out a month ago, that featured Craig Robinson, Sarah Silverman, Heidi Gardner from SNL, and Jason Mantzoukas were the 4 people on stage, and there was a band called Lawrence, and we loved it. Like really funny stories, like one where Sarah Silverman's like just embodying Paul Revere's horse is the narrator, and like they're just like absurd and poignant. And it's really cool. And every like week or few weeks, they would have different actors, different comedians take over the roles and read the same show. So we saw it with those. My mom decided she wanted to see it because she saw Mike Birbiglia was in it. She likes him. She didn't get that ticket, but she did get it to see Ray Romano. He was in it. Jenny Slate was in it, and a couple other people. And she's like, I love Ray Romano. And we're like, oh yeah, we really love the show. We think you'll love the show. I had lunch with my mom and her boyfriend the day after they saw the show. And this is all just to recap why I'm sharing it. It's sort of in response to, if you like Star Wars because you enjoy Andor and Rogue One, then you'll be disappointed with other Star Wars. If you like Ray Romano's stand-up and you think that's what you're going to see when you're going to see him as one of 4 actors reading and portraying short stories by Simon Rich and not his own stand-up, you'll be like, what is this? And I was like, how did you like it? Like, it wasn't really for us, I guess. And but then I was like, yeah, that they thought it was going to be 4 stand-ups. They thought it was going to be people doing their own stand-up. And then after I described, I'm like, oh no, it's this other thing. And they're like, well, I guess if we knew, now that we know what it was supposed to be, maybe it was better than we thought.
Yeah, I can see that. Bomani Jones, friend of the show, friend in real life, he was on a podcast, For All Nerds, recently. I was listening to it, and he, I guess now infamously thinks that Sinners was just okay. But right. But I as a friend of Bomani, somebody knows him pretty well. Bomani doesn't really watch movies.
Nope, he's not a movie
like
person.
He loved like 3 movies. He can quote like 5. You know what I mean? And The Wire. Like it's not like. He's my friend, so I like maybe it's a little different because I know him in real life. But it's like if he has an opinion on a movie, he's not Bomani Jones podcast host to me. He's Bomani Jones guy that don't watch movies.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure I have I'm sure I have some area like that in my life where if you were like, do you like this music or whatever? I was like, I don't listen to that kind of music. And so it's like, and if I gave my opinion, it'd probably be like it's my opinion, but you don't have to respect my opinion because I literally have no grounding to tell you like why I like this jazz album over that jazz album. I can't name 2 jazz albums, right? So, but it is funny though, because like how much does it have to mean to people to get that feeling of like, oh, you don't like the thing that I like? It's like you can also just be like, and that's what makes the world go around. We're cool. We'll talk about another thing.
Right, and that's okay. And also, I think for me too, when it comes to consuming and consumption of like TV and all this stuff, sometimes I go through phases where I just want to watch the same shit 25 times in a row.
Oh yeah,
like and just not watch anything.
That's
new.
me with American Dad and Family.
And so
I can watch that shit every day.
You know, and so when you do that, that means it's other things kind of rotating around you that you're out of the loop of. But you're content, like, because for me, when I consume things, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be mad. I just want to go in with a clean mind and go, however the person is going to present this, I want to take it in without any thing in the back of my
Right,
mind
no
without
agenda.
the
Yeah, I do
like
that. I do that a lot of times. Where I actually, when I see a huge conversation about something in the zeitgeist that I want to watch, and the conversation, I can just feel it taking over my brain. Like, well, now I have to watch it with my arms folded. I will just wait until my I memory hold it. Like it might be 6 months, it might be years, and I'm like, I don't know what Pluribus is about. What was everyone mad about anyway? And then you hit play,
Yeah.
and then you're like, Pluribus is fucking awesome. Now the thing you give up is obviously the community.
yeah.
But honestly, I don't need the community. I kind of like my community of just my brain going,
yes.
oh yeah, I like this thing.
I liked it, right?
If I may, this brings me to my third point exactly of the three I mentioned. So you know the movie Heat?
Yes.
Heat, the first time that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino were ever on screen together in cinema history, even though they were in a movie previously, but they never were on screen. I saw it when it came out, and it wasn't. I thought it was fine at the time. Renian had never seen it. We just watched it for the first time together, like a couple nights ago.
You
Really over the.
reheated it?
We
That's
reheated it. And one of the reasons it was in our consciousness in our household community was that in our acting class we just took, I did a scene, the diner scene from Heat, where I played the Pacino character and with a guy who did the De Niro one. And so we're like, oh wow, it was cool to see the scene that I had done by these, fantastic actors. And
were you better than them, or were they better than you?
look, you can't compare it. I think we both made it our own. And
okay, all right, listen, if you can't beat the Heat, that's fine.
yeah, I didn't say hoo-ah at all, but which I think made my performance suffer a little. But I don't know if you know. Do y'all know the old Jim Gaffigan joke about Heat?
Is it about the Hot Pocket Heat? If not, then no.
Great guess. His joke is basically, hey, so I just saw the movie Heat. I know it came out 5 years ago, but I want to talk about it now. And the beautiful thing is, I thought that later I wrote a joke and I was like, I don't know how to tell this joke without telling his joke, but like, I want to talk about Jim Gaffigan's joke about Heat now. And then my friend Nick Vatterott figured out a way to do it, like sort of just in parallel. I saw it one time he tweeted at Jim Gaffigan, I want to talk about your joke about Heat now. And the beautiful thing is, like,
he retweeted your reheated.
Wow, he retweeted my reheated Heat. Yeah. And the beautiful thing is that because now there is less of a monoculture, of course, like when a Game of Thrones type show is on, right, you can be a part of the conversation week by week, but also there always will be people who are taking it in later in drips and drabs. And like, it's no longer like weird or inappropriate or unacceptable in whatever the real life emotional experience that Jim Gaffigan was speaking to when he's like, nobody wants to talk about Heat with me, but I want to talk about it now. But now there's like, that isn't as much so because of how fractured and compartmentalized pop culture and media
There's probably
and society is.
There's probably a Heat Reddit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it is.
Like sometimes when I play a video game or something, whichever way the computers are monitoring my life, they'll like suggest, at the end of the day, I always get the Reddit email that suggests like, hey, you might be into this if you're into this. And since it can't tell me pornography, it just tells me like other stuff on my phone. So it's like Heat or this video game Sworn or Hades, like you like that, right?
Yeah, you playing
and
that
so
lot.
so yeah, that the game's 5 years old and there's people making comments every day, and it's like, what about this very specific niche element of this game? So yeah, if you want to have a conversation, my point being like, there's constantly a conversation now. The conversations don't even, because we don't have the tent pole anymore, the conversation is the tent pole, right? Yes. Like, because that's what a lot of people are doing all this for anyway. So you can always go back and rejoin it or whatever. My main issue is more that I realize, much like the protagonist to Pluribus, I kind of hate people, even though I kind of need people. So I don't really be that interested in anyone's thoughts. I'm like, these are the thoughts that I have are the best thoughts about the thing. And then when I include other people, now I'm taking a risk that their thoughts will not be as cool as my thoughts.
Rod, that's really funny and makes a lot of sense and makes me wonder, do you know the comedian Drew Michael?
No, I do not.
I think you'll really dig him. He has 2 specials on HBO, one of which was performed in front of no audience, and one of which is performed in front of an audience, and also it's just he's a really creative, brilliant artist of comedy, and he has just one joke that I'm going to paraphrase that I think you might.
Mike, before you say that, just how about this? Someone's got to perform where they're in the crowd by themselves and the audience is on the stage. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so Drew Michael has a joke from many years ago where he's like, I went on a date and I had a good time, but that's because I was there. It's like, of course, the conversation was good. I was having part of it. Yeah.
I was handling my shit. Them, I don't know. There might not be a second date for them.
Might have been hit or miss.
I love me, but yeah, it is. But it is interesting. Other people, like, at least that's the problem I ran into. Is like I realized that so much of what I associate the conversation with has become negative because I think of the places that it happens. I actually think the mediums reward flattening. They reward bad faith. Yes. They reward like hot takes that are going to get a lot of attention, stuff like that.
Life is a little different.
Yeah. So it's not really like when I do have conversations normally like this on our podcast or with a friend or something where there's like a buy-in because, I mean, I'm sure people can hate everything all the time as much as it seems, but I'm like, can you really? Or is this just like, this is a hateful place? And if you were to pop on here and be like, guys, I love basketball. They're like, okay, weirdo.
Tomatoes at you.
You weirdo.
Go play basketball then. You love it so much. Why don't you marry a basketball like Tom Hanks did on that island with a volleyball? Anyway,
Wilson.
But I think your point earlier, I feel like the message here, the main theme is like, be the algorithm that you want to create and curate in your own life, because like Reddit, for some, Reddit is a cesspool, and for Rini has so many subreddits that she subscribes to or is checks in on a daily or weekly or however frequently basis, and like they're all like the most heartwarming ones, like people like saving stuffed animals from destruction. People like there's one she just found the other day. It's like Old Person Facebook, I think is the name of it, and it's just like screenshots of people's older relatives like misusing Facebook in funny ways, like somebody posting to.
Is she on what is this snake? Because I'm telling you, she's missing out if she's not.
What is this snake?
Yeah, it's a wholesome Reddit that is just people that take pictures of snakes and they're like, what is this snake? And then people just tell you like, this is the snake that it is. I now can recognize so many snakes.
Yeah, he know a good noodle from a non-noodle.
Yeah, no, people call them danger noodles.
I'm sorry.
And then the ones that aren't venomous and bitey, we call them snake friends. But honestly, almost any snake can bite, and you shouldn't just handle them if you don't know, if it's not your snake.
Yeah, I've already told Roger I am racist. They all scare me. I'm good.
Wow, that's the kind of ignorance that we don't accept in what snake is this. And I'm glad you're not part of the Reddit. It's one of the only few positive Reddits that I've ever come across. Every other Reddit is like, I like this thing. I want to talk about this thing. And you're like, oh, cool. I like that thing. And then when you click inside, they're like, I want to talk about this thing I hate. And I'm like, oh, no. You said Dan Le Batard show on the outside. It didn't say we all hate Dan Le Batard. In that he's a podcaster, and in his own Reddit, people are like, I wish Dan would just like talk less. And I was like, the job is to talk. Why are you even listening?
That's funny. There's another subreddit she follows that's I forget what it's called. It might just be R bald, or it's
Mhm.
definitely bald. Yeah. And it's people coming in with a photo of themselves and they're like balding, they've got scraggly hair, and they're like, should I just shave it all off? And everyone's like, yes. And then
Yeah.
they
I know
post
they're like,
like
yeah.
before and after photos, and it's
Oh.
always they're like, oh my, they look younger, they look more
Right.
vibrant, they look healthy, and it's just a super supportive vibe. Here's the first
That's
one from
them.
the old person Facebook that Rini shared with me, if I can remember it correctly. It was somebody, an older person, went onto the Applebee's, like just the overall Applebee's Facebook page, and
Okay.
said like, I I'm I'm at your restaurant and I can't find my nephew. He said he was here. And then Applebee's wrote back and was like, we have like over 1,900 locations. Can you tell us which one you're at? And she's like, oh, thank you, Applebee. I found him. He was at Chili's.
Oh, oh no, that's hilarious.
She got a
Thank you,
Chili's out.
Applebee was the title of that
Yes.
post.
That's beautiful, man. Listen, honestly, I think we can take this one home. That was beautiful. That was a great closure to the story. I had a good
Love it.
time.
I always love
We
having
always
guests.
love glad to know
Same.
what you were gonna see you in real
Thank
life
you.
soon. If
Yes.
everything goes to plan, we can't wait. And it was so funny because we're going to Vegas the week after,
Mm-hmm.
but because I mixed up the dates in my head, so in Vegas there's a thing on Friday where we're going to perform at Pod Jam. We're going to do our podcast and hang out with these folks, and then Saturday there's a party at like a swanky mansion or some shit. I keep hearing, and they're like, you can hang out with people there. But I was like, Myq Kaplan is coming in town next Sunday, and I'm gonna just leave on Saturday because I don't want to chance missing them. Whatever, like we get a flight delay or something.
Ah.
Turns out I was a week. I would have been a week behind and late anyway because Mike's coming the
Ah.
week before. So we'll be here Sunday when he's here, and then we'll be leaving for Vegas on Thursday. And we will be staying Saturday, so we will get to go hang out at the party and see how they hobnob and stuff like
Yay.
that. So
I am really looking for those of you that's coming out to Vegas. I am really, really looking forward to meeting y'all and greeting y'all
and the link is in the show notes for those listening.
and hugging.
Yeah, and Mike, where are you gonna be? Between now and then, like, how can people find out where they can see you?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, Myq Kaplan, spelled MyQ Kaplan. All my social media. If you want to get my show dates, they're at my website, which is myqkaplan.com, or go to punchup.live/Myq Kaplan, and you can sign up and get messages whenever I or any comedian that you love, you can sign up for. There's a bunch of comedians on there. It's a great way to keep in touch and learn when comedians are coming to your area. Before I am at Duckworth's in Charlotte, which is on Sunday, April 5th. I will be the 2 days prior at the DC Comedy Loft in Washington, D.C. And the weekend before that, from the 26th to the 29th of this month, I will be in Illinois and Wisconsin variously. So if you're in that region, again, all the stuff is on my website, social media. My Substack newsletter is myqkaplan.substack.com. But yeah, search for Myq Kaplan, the places that you want, sign up and receive things that you wish.
Oh man, well, it was good seeing you. Good talking to you.
Always.
We'll definitely check back in next month in real life for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always welcome to come back on the show as well. And audience, schedule for the rest of the week. I'm not 100% sure. I think we may do the sports show tomorrow. If not, then Thursday. And don't remember what other plans we have. So we'll just see throughout the week, guys. Okay, we plan them like you got them. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah.
Love you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Mike.
Bye.